screen. You will hear it too because the narrator will be reading it for you. And after you hear the question, after the narrator is done reading the question, you get how many seconds to prepare?
15.
Exactly. You get 15 seconds to prepare. And later you get how many for speaking?
45.
In fact, you get 45%. So we'll just focus on practicing then and giving you guys some feedback. We are 2, 4, 5, I think, right? Today's class 6. Okay, so it's fine. So let's start with this question in here. The question says, some people prefer to get information from books. Others prefer using a computer to access information via the internet. Which do you prefer? Explain why. Okay, that is the question. Which do you prefer? Explain why. Now you guys will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Starting now. Okay. So we're gonna start with David. David, could you please go now?
Okay. I definitely prefer to get information with or using computer by the internet because I can to get many information and I can to sorry miss, I feel nervous. Can I start again?
Okay, I'll give you one more shot. But remember that even if you feel nervous, you need to continue. You need to say something. You still have 25 seconds left. You could have said something there. Okay, but go ahead. Go ahead now.
Okay, I prefer to get information using a computer to access via the internet because I can to get many information about different topics. And however, when do you get information by book, you can get information or, or get all information. And so for this reason, I prefer to take information via internet.
Okay, okay. So you are starting good. You said, I definitely prefer. Good, you're using the same verb. They're asking which do you prefer. So you responded, I prefer to access information via the internet. Great. Now your reason was also actually good. You said, because I can get, right? Careful with the grammar. I think that you said it twice. After the verb can, after any modal verb, can, may, might, should, you always need to use, you don't need the infinity form, right? So you don't need to use to. So I can get, I can do, I can see, I may see. Careful there. But going back to what we were saying as for the content, you said because I can get more information, right? Than you do on books. That is perfect so far. Now, the point where you started maybe going off topic a bit was when you introduced the word however, and you talked about getting information from books. You said that you get all the information. So one tip that I'm going to give you all, never use any contrasting word in this answer. In this specific question number 1, you guys are not allowed to say things like however, but, nevertheless, nonetheless, on the other hand. you cannot use any of those words because you're not supposed to contrast your options, right? Which is kind of what you were doing, David. You said, on the other hand, or however, when you get access, when you get information, you find all the information. That wasn't necessary to mention. You chose getting information from the internet, and that's what you need to stick with. So instead of adding a counterclaim, instead of telling me about the other option, you need to give an example there. So you give me your reason, I can get more information from the internet. And then give me an example. So tell me, for example, yesterday I was searching something about this that I couldn't find on this book, but I found it on the internet. So the internet has way more information than books. Okay, so everything has to go around the same idea. If your idea is more information, you need to give me an example and you need to stop there. Okay? Is that okay, David? Do you guys have any questions or anybody? Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. It wasn't bad though. You were going good. You were just that part where you were talking about the other option is maybe where you got lost. Now let's take a look at another question. Okay, this one is kind of simple. It says, some people think that modern technology has made people's lives simpler. Others believe it has made people's lives more complicated. Which point of view do you agree with? Explain why. You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your response. Okay, so Ricardo, you may start speaking now.
I would say that technology has made our lives more difficult because new a new language has emerged, and this new technological language demands each one of us learn it. Those who are not able to learn it will not gain the same opportunities. For example, C++ is a program that has its own languages, and many people found very difficult to program a machine through this application.
Okay, Ricardo, well done. So honestly, that was a great response. At the beginning, I was like, oh no, because I thought that you were going with something too complicated because you were talking about technology, it has created a new language and it requires fast learners. So it honestly sounded a little bit complicated, but you were able to go with it just fine. You had your example. You had a specific example. You talked about one specific program. You talked about C++. And yes, you kept with your same idea. So it was really good. In general, I always suggest, remember that this isn't about how complicated you make. You can go with something simple and still have a great score, right? So if it would be maybe easier for you, then yes, you can go with a simpler reason. Maybe technology has made people's lives more complicated since I don't know, we have lost uh, or we waste time, right? Something shorter. You can go with that if you think that it would be faster or it would be easier. But honestly, your response was great. Although you had complicated ideas, it was great. It was well done. Well done, Ricardo. So, any questions before we continue? By the way, this is a really common topic. Technology and its impact. Such a common topic, not only here for the independent speaking, but also for the independent writing. So make sure that you have some phrases, some vocabulary, some expressions, and some ideas, and even some examples, if you will, to discuss. Okay. Now let's look at this. It says, sorry, imagine that you must decide between two homes to live in. One place is very large and brand new, but it is very far from work or university. The second is very small and old, but you would be able to get to work or university in less than 5 minutes. Which place would you prefer to live in? Explain why. You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so let's go with Laura. Yes, you may start now.
I definitely prefer the second option, which is a place that is very small and old, and you get to work or university in less than 5 minutes, since you will save a lot of time moving from place to place. For instance, in case if you have an emergency and you need to go to the hospital or some place that is really near to your house, you can go there. My grandma 1 month ago had an emergency because she has diabetes and her glucose went down, and we had to take her to the hospital, which is 5 minutes away from our house. That would be the main reason why I feel this way.
Okay, Laura, well done, great. So, your response was great. Your was good. You said that you prefer the second option, and not only did you say that, but you also mentioned what it was, make it even clearer to the reason of the topic, right? But this place that you'll be living in is close to your university or work, right? Not necessarily close to the hospital. So careful, make sure that that the example you give needs to be illustrating your reason. So you did say that you'll save a lot of time, but you'll save time only going to work or university, right? We don't know if you'll save time going to other places. So careful there, okay? Careful with that, with your examples. But otherwise, if we have been maybe a different question, maybe like a small and old place in town, close to everything, everything you need there, then it would have been good. Okay? Is that okay? Do you guys have any questions so far? No? Okay, let's do another one. Okay, here we have some college students choose to prepare for careers where there are more job opportunities. Others choose to study subjects that interested them regardless of job opportunities. Which do you think is better and why? Do something that interests you or something where you will have more job opportunities? You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So, Mateo, you can go now.
Okay, I definitely would prefer that is better. I definitely prefer. Can I start again? Sorry. No.
You have to continue no matter what. You won't be able to start your test, remember. Okay, just for this time. But everyone
Oh.
else, if this happens to you, you need to continue. Okay, so go one more time.
Okay, I think it's better to study subjects that interest you, you regardless of your opportunities, because it's what you're going to live for the rest of your life. So routines would be much more, would be easier to live through with something you like to do than something you don't like to, but you can get a job easier.
Okay. What do you think, Mateo? Is there anything that was missing? Anything you add?
I think I um, I needed to give an example. I didn't have time for that.
But the reason you didn't have time for that was because you were over explaining your reason, and it wasn't necessary. You said, I was hoping that you'd stop when you said, because it's what you do for you, what you'll do for the rest of your life, so you better know what you do. That's enough. You don't have to explain it more. You said, then you continued, right? You said it's easier to live doing something that you like instead of doing something that you don't like. That wasn't necessary. Okay, so keep it short. Your reason should be short because it's what you'll do for the rest of your life, so you better like it. And give me an example. We need those details. You can give a personal example and say, for instance, I've liked programming since I was a kid, and now I'm a programmer and I don't feel like I'm working, right? Something short. Or you can even like give a general example, right? So if you like cooking, even if you don't have a lot of job opportunities for that area, you should still go for it because you will be happier. I don't know. But the thing is that we need those details, right? We need those occupations, so cooking, programming, whatever it is, we need those details. Okay. So is that okay? Do you guys have any questions so far? No? All right. So let's see. Okay, this one here says, some people are able to make decisions very quickly based on their first thoughts. Other people take a lot of time and think carefully before making a decision. Which do you think is better? Explain why by using details and examples to support your opinion. Okay? So you guys will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so Valentina, please get ready. You can start now.
Okay, I think it's better to take a lot of time and think carefully before making a decision, because when you make a decision very quickly, you can make some mistakes. For example, I made a lot of mistakes taking bad decisions by taking them quickly as like maybe buying clothes that I didn't wear, or maybe bigger mistakes. And that's why I chose this answer.
Okay, great. Valentina, that was really good. Really. And I noticed that you were improvising, but that's great because you were thinking at the moment. And even then, you could still come up with good ideas and good examples too. So nice. Loved your introduction. It was fast, it was short, it was concise. It's exactly 7 seconds. And you had enough time to repeat what you have in the question. And your reason too, so you can make more mistakes, and your example too. In the beginning, it was going to general, right? And I was thinking like, okay, but what bad decisions have you made? And then you explain and you gave examples and you gave details about those bad decisions. So you gave one example about buying clothes that you didn't wear at the end. And that's enough, honestly. So well done. I really don't have any comments at the end for your conclusion. Try not to say that's why I chose this answer. Maybe try something different, So maybe you could say, and that's why I feel that this is the best way to go, or the best thing to do, or this is why I feel this way, or this is why I think like this. Okay, something like that, but don't mention the word answer. Okay, but it was a really good answer, Valentina. Thank you. Okay, guys, no questions so far. What are we missing? Ivan hasn't gone yet. Are you there, Ivan? Hello? Okay, so we have here, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? It is important for children to learn to draw or paint. Use details and examples to explain your opinion. You guys will have now 15 seconds to prepare your response. Okay. So, Mateo, please, you can go now.
Okay, I definitely agree that children is important for children to learn how to draw or paint because it improves their creativity. For example, my two cousins, which I I raised with my bro, do this a lot of the time when they were growing up, and now they are very I don't know, creative people. That's why I feel this way.
Okay, Mateo, great. Congrats. That was good. So you went faster than before. You didn't explain your your reason so much. You keep it short. So you said, yes, they should learn how to draw or paint, since or because this improves their creativity. And great, you left it there and you went to your example. It was personal and it illustrated what you said and you made it on time. So well done, Mateo. That was really an improvement. Okay, guys. If you have any tips to give your classmates, then feel free to turn your microphones on and speak, okay? So if you have anything to add, any tips to give, then that's very welcome. The more tips that we hear, the better we get. So let's see, let's look at this one. It says, some people like to specifically plan how they will spend their free time. Others prefer to keep their free time open and not schedule any activities in advance. Which do you prefer and why? Okay. Now you will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay. So you will now have 45 seconds to speak. Maybe we can go with Laura. Okay.
I would definitely prefer to specifically plan how I will spend my free time. For instance, if because since it allows you to be more productive and organized with your time. For instance, whenever I have free time, if I finish an exam, for example, last week I had some free time to spend with my friends because I finished a programming exam, and I just had to plan it since other professors can give me extra homework and other things to do. So I had to plan it to make a schedule before I plan this thing with my friends.
Okay, well done, Laura, great. Honestly, that was really good. So you went with your introduction, it was short, concise. You were going with the example, but you remember, and you gave your reason first, then the example, and your example was great too. And I like that you realized you were starting first with a routine, right? So whenever I have some free time, but then you went with a specific example, which was really better than the other. So great, I have no comments. Well done. And I like the fact that you can identify your mistakes and correct them at the time. That's a really good thing. Okay, guys. Any questions so far? Any tips for Laura? No? Okay. This one is interesting. It says, some people say that childhood is the best time in a person's life. Other people disagree. What is your opinion? Explain why. You will have 15 seconds now to prepare your responses. Okay. Maybe Ricardo. So please, you may go now.
I would say that it's true. The statement is true because children like don't have the burdens adults have to deal with. Children are not aware of many things. For example, Jorge Luis Borges, in one of his books, uh, mentioned he, as a kid, was unaware of death. So that's exactly when he felt himself like he was immortal. But adults, most of us are aware of death and we are afraid of not living. Children live.
Okay. All right, Ricardo, well done. So no comments. Really nice introduction. I think that you said it, right? That the statement is true. I maybe would suggest that you say what the statement is. So I think it's true that childhood is the best time in a person's life, just in case. But everything else was really great. So your reason, they are unaware of negative things. Your example too, you quoted somebody else, great example to use. And I personally like the fact that at the end you had some extra time, so you added something which was related in order to finish the idea by the time your 45 seconds are over. So well done. Really no comments. What do you guys think? Any questions now? Okay. Okay, let's see. Here we have, when some people have a little extra money, they like to spend it right away on something they enjoy. Others prefer to save the extra money. Which do you like to do, and explain why? You guys have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so let's go with Valentina. Okay.
Okay, I prefer to save the extra money because you can buy or do things that you want in the future. For example, the last year I had the opportunity to travel to other places by saving that extra money, but I learned how to because when I was younger, I didn't know how to save and I was expending right away. But I think that it's very important to save that extra money that you have.
Hey, nice, Valentina, well done. So, good introduction. Your reason was great too. So you can buy and do things in the future. Your example was great as well. So last year you had a chance to travel. Maybe more details will be great there. So where did you go? And you said that before when you were young, or when you were younger, you didn't know how to save, right? And you spend things right away. So maybe more details there. What did you spend the money on when you were young? Okay. So some more details and that'd be great. Okay. Let's see. All right. We have state whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Then explain your reasons using specific details in your explanation. People are more likely to enjoy themselves at concerts or films if they go with a group of friends. You will now have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so David, you may go now.
Okay, I agree for this statement because when I when I go to the concert with my friend, I enjoy because we can to sing the different song and we can to uh, car we can to dancing together. Uh, for this reason, I prefer this option because last years I was in a concert with my friend and we enjoyed this concert together. I don't know.
Okay. You're mixing your ideas a little bit. What you used as your reason was supposed to be your example, right? When you talked about specific events, specific things, those are examples, right? When you say, I went to a concert with my friend, I had such a great time, we were able to sing to the, I don't know, to the songs together and so forth. That is your example. That you need to have a reason before that, right? Even if it's simple, even if it's just like, because I don't know, I don't like to be alone. I feel lonely when I am alone and I enjoy other people's companies, right? Or maybe you can say, because I have great friends or fun friends, maybe because I'm an extrovert, I don't know, or I like to be social, or I like to talk to people. Even if it's a simple thing, you need to give a reason and then you need to go with your example. Okay, so don't forget that. First the reason, then the example. But it was good. It wasn't bad. You were just missing that detail, that reason. Um, okay, and actually, now that I'm thinking about this, you know how I usually say it's better not to over explain your reasons, keep it short and use and go longer with the example. I think if we read this, it says explain your reasons using specific details in your explanation. That is, you need to explain your reasons using examples, basically. So the best way that you could explain your reason is by using examples, right? But you still need to give your reason first. So give your reason, then explain it with the example. Okay, guys. Do you have any questions so far? Ivan, can you turn your microphone on now? Or are you still fixing it? Okay, all right, no problem. Let's look at this one. It says, some teachers think it is important for students to sit in assigned seats. That is, to sit in the same place every day in class. Others think that students should be allowed to choose where they will sit, and they allow them to sit in different seats on different days. Which do you think is better? Explain why. Now you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response. Okay, so let's go with Valentina. You can go now.
Okay, I think that students should be allowed to choose where they will sit, because sometimes you might choose to sit next to a person who can help you with the assignment. For example, when I was at school, I didn't understand really well math, and my teachers didn't allow me to sit next to a person who knows the assignment and who can also help me with that.
Okay. Good, Valentina, great. So good response. Great introduction, great reason, well thought. So sometimes you may choose to sit with somebody that can help you in a way. And great example too, you gave a specific detail, you talked about the subject specifically where you were struggling. And it was cool. I mean, that you always have two ways of giving examples, right? You can maybe tell a time about, or maybe tell your personal experience about allowing or being allowed to choose where you want to sit and that being a good thing, or not being allowed where you want to sit and that being a bad thing, right? But don't forget that being a bad thing part. So all of your examples should have a resolution. It seemed like a little bit incomplete. I would have loved to hear like a final thought at the end that says, so my teacher didn't allow me to choose where I wanted to sit. And what, right? How did that affect? Maybe so I couldn't, I don't know, I couldn't get better or I couldn't do better in math, something like that, right? So how did this affect you? Or maybe, and I wish I could, maybe I would have gotten better grades. Maybe I would have, I don't know, been a better student. So something like that. That final idea would have been great. But it's just like to let the cherry on top. That would be like the final thing to add. But it was a really great response. So what do you guys think? Do you have any questions now? Any thoughts to share? No? Okay, guys. Now let's see. Let's look at this one. It says, some people like to shop in large grocery stores and department stores. Other people prefer to shop in small specialty stores or shops. Which do you prefer? Explain why. You guys will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, that one pretty fast. Let's go with, I don't know, does anyone want to try? Any volunteers?
Okay.
Great, that we can go now.
I definitely prefer to shop in the last grocery store and department store because I can find different or variety uh, um, health, food or other. Okay, okay, can I start again, please? Okay, because you can find different or varieties of the one. For example, yesterday I was in the supermarket, a small supermarket, and I can find the meal and other food that I want.
Okay, all right, David. So you got, but you continued. You have to do that. No problem. No starting again. And it wasn't bad, you know, even though you maybe you wasted 10 seconds in there, it was still a good response. You have your introduction, you prefer to buy or to shop in large grocery stores. You had your reason because you can find more items, right? More products. And you can find anything you want, good. And you had your example, which was great as well. So you went to a supermarket, a small market, and you couldn't find milk, right? So it's great. It's great. Careful with the grammar. Maybe you're making some grammar mistakes. Careful with the can too, and careful with the tenses. In your case, you gave an example of a past experience, right? You said, yesterday I went to a small market. That was okay. But then you started mixing tenses, right? And I cannot find, right? But you needed to say, I couldn't find milk. And I couldn't find the products that I wanted, right? Don't forget the tenses. You can practice, or if not, it's not a bad option to go with something to something in the present, right? So how can you turn this example in the present? You can say, for example, something as a fact or as a routine. You could say, for example, across my street, there's this small market, and every time I go, I never find what I'm looking for, right? I meal, I cannot find what I want, and that's why I prefer to shop in large grocery stores or go to bigger markets. So going with something general, and I'm still giving details, right? I can still mention milk or sugar, things like that, because I cannot find very basic items. Sometimes they run out of milk, they don't have this, they don't have that. You could still give examples and specific details, even if you're not talking about a past experience, okay? So you can consider that option, going with something in the present. And what happened? Why do you think it is that you get stuck sometimes and you want to start again? What do you think the reason for that is? David?
Excuse me, can listen.
Can you hear me?
Now.
Okay, so I will ask you, why do you think that is it that you get stuck sometimes and want to start over? What happens there?
Sorry, miss.
Okay. I think you have some internet problems, right? Okay, no problem. Let's continue. Okay, let's look at this. The question says, some students attend college full-time, while others attend college part-time. Which do you think is better? Explain why. Okay, you will now have 15 seconds to prepare your response. Okay. So who wants to go? Anyone want to try?
Can I try, teacher?
Yes, sure, Valentina.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
I think that attend college part-time is better because as a student, you have more time to do your homework and other activities out of the university. And in my case, I live far from my campus, so it takes me like an hour to go and an hour to come back to my house, and that's why I feel this way.
Okay, great. You had some extra time. If you have more than 10 seconds, you try to give another idea, or if not, go with a longer conclusion. Okay, so try to make it longer. So, and this is the main reason why I feel that every student should attend college part-time. So make it a little bit long. But it was great. It was great. Your introduction was good. Careful with one grammar thing, which that happens a lot, both when speaking and when writing. When you talk about a verb, but well, when you talk about an action, you're talking about that action, and that action is the subject of your sentence. That is the main thing that you're talking about. Like, I think that attending college part-time is better. In that sentence, you're talking about the action of attending college, right? If you say playing guitar is important, so you're saying that you're talking about the action of playing guitar. So when that happens, or another way to remember it, when the verb is in the beginning and it's not really the verb, then you need to use ing, right? So I think that attending college part-time is better instead of just attend. Careful without grammar part. And everything else was great. I liked your example personally. I like the details you used. And it sounded natural too. It didn't sound like a template. So well done, Valentina. What do you guys think? How do you feel so far? No questions? Okay. Here we have, some people believe it is important for universities to provide funding for students' entertainment, such as movies or concerts on campus. Others believe that university money should only be used for academic purposes. Which view do you agree with, and explain why? Okay, you guys will have 15 seconds to prepare your responses. Okay, so who wants to go? Ready? I choose. Maybe Mateo, why don't you go?
Okay, I definitely agree that it is important for universities to provide funding for students' entertainment, such as movies or concerts on campus, because the students' formation shouldn't only be academical, but it also should be for create for to improve their creativity or other aspects um, that should allow them to uh, grow intellectually.
Okay, Mateo, nice. Nicely done. That was an awesome response. And I'm noticing the changes. So great introduction, you can always make it shorter. So in this case, if you have examples, not necessary to mention. It's enough if you say, I do agree that it's important for universities to provide funding for entertainment, right? But even then, you are still good with the time part. Your reason was great, really it was fantastic, I'd say. So you said that the student's formation isn't only about the academic part, but it's also about other aspects. And you mentioned creativity as one of them. Great. Honestly, same tip as before, I would have stopped there, right? So the student's formation isn't just the academical part, but we should be considering other things, such as creativity. Stop there and give the example, right? So tell me how this relates to the reason and to the topic, right? So tell me, for example, a good movie can, I don't know, can develop the student's creativity, and maybe they'll find their passion there, or maybe they'll create, or they'll find new hobbies in there. Or you can talk about yourself if you want. You can say, when I went to college, every Saturday I don't know, they had a concert on campus, and that, I don't know, made me a fan of music, and I became a musician, and now it's my hobby. So you can always make something up. Okay? But that'll be the only thing. Don't forget your example. Make your reason shorter if you want, but you need to give that example. Okay? Yes. So, do you guys have any questions now? Anything before we go? Now it's your time to ask. You don't have any questions, anything? Yes. So tomorrow we still have one more class to practice these. I know it's, I don't know. Do you think that we are done with this one, or would you think that you need some more practice? Do you want to continue practicing tomorrow? This task? Yes, you guys do? Okay, great. Then we'll do that tomorrow. Today though, please don't forget to complete today's survey. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And we'll continue practicing this task.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you, Sue.